So, do item specifics affect how you show up in eBay searches? Do they? Well, as you might know, I was the recipient of an eBay Up and Running grant this year. And as part of the prize, there is a series of webinars we attend and also some Ask Me Anything sessions. And I've only really been to one webinar so far, and it was about listing. And for the most part, it was really rudimentary and like nothing to write home about. But they did have a woman come on who was either in product or development for the new listing tool. And the things she had to say were really interesting. And I got to ask her a couple questions, and I want to tell you what I found out. And then there's an Ask Me Anything tomorrow, so I'll be asking some questions, and I'll let you know what I find out then. Anyway, item specifics. So the word from the eBay horse's mouth is that item specifics do not affect your rank in search or where you show up on the page or anything. It's totally not part of the algorithm that decides where things show up or how often or if your listing shows up. So that myth that has been sort of like comes and goes in the eBay reseller ecosystem, that you have to fill out all the item specifics or else your listings won't show up a lot. That myth we can put to rest. It is not true. Hurrah! And so of course you do need to fill out the required item specifics for your category, because otherwise your item will not list. So you got to do that. But all the optional ones, you do not have to do. Now, her advice, and consequently now my advice, is to think about whether you think your users or your buyers are going to be searching and filtering on that item specific. So for example, with vintage postcards, there's an item specific that says posted or unposted. And as far as anyone knows, people don't really care about that. People who collect postcards, I mean, maybe there's a few, but the vast majority care about the front, not the back. So rarely would somebody be searching for, say, like a vintage postcard of San Francisco and then check the unposted filter because they only want unposted ones. Could happen, but it's not really a big thing in the postcard collector community. So I would not bother to fill that out. It's just taking you time and not giving you a return. Also, I mean, I put all the important things that item specifics asks for in my title, and hopefully that will show people what they want. So if I say, vintage postcard San Francisco, whatever, with a bunch more keywords, and somebody's looking for a San Francisco postcard, hopefully that will come up before they even click a filter that says San Francisco. I mean, that's a bad example because that's such a, big city, but you know what I mean. So, however, if you're doing something that you either can't get the keyword that represents that item specific into the title, or you want to re-emphasize it because you think people might filter on that when they search, like you think people might be looking for, I don't know, maybe it's like a brand of shoes, and you've put, the brand and the size and the gender and the color and like all this stuff in the title, but you couldn't fit in that like the trim was silver metal and not gold metal, and that's an item specific, so you want to click silver because maybe they're searching for that shoe with all that stuff, but then they click the filter for silver because they want that specific one, that sort of thing. I don't even know if that's a valid example, but that's the idea. Like if it's something you can't get in the title, or it's something you really think people are going to use the filters on. She also, well, actually the other presenter actually gave a statistic that 80% of users use filters when they search. And I asked to clarify if that was specifically eBay users versus the web. I assume it's eBay, but just interesting to know. So take that as you will. But the long and the short of it is that optional item specifics are truly optional. There's no secret thing where like you should actually fill them in to get some advantage. You should only fill them in if it fits your search strategy or your SEO strategy, as it were, like what how you think people are searching for your item. And the other thing that I want to tell you is that they are working on the new listing tool still. And apparently I haven't listed anything in a little while. That's another story. But I haven't listed anything in a little while, so I haven't noticed this yet. But they are slowly getting rid of all those pop-ups that take you off the page and make it take longer to list things on desktop. And so they know that those are problematic, and they are working like module by module to get rid of them and make it more streamlined. So hurrah, that's really good. And this woman from the new listing tool team also assured us all that they do actually read all the feedback they get on these kind of UI UX issues. So, and they do take it into account. Presumably, like if they get enough complaints about a certain thing, they fix it. And if they get, one complaint about a certain thing and it's an outlier, it might not make the list. I mean, that's just me interpreting what she said, but so I would say definitely hit that little feedback button if you're having issues with how the workflow works, how the new listing tool works, because it will be read and hopefully taken into account. I also heard that you will not be able to switch back to the old listing tool after a certain point. I already can't, but I know some people still can. And that's because the old and new listing tools are written on different platforms, and it's not going to be compatible after a certain point, so they can't allow that to be an option. However, they are working to make the new one better, and I think to customize, allow you to customize like what you see more and like let you take out stuff you don't even use. So that sounds good, right? I will be attending several like Ask Me Anything sessions with people from eBay. So I know I have a lot of questions, but if you have questions you want me to try to ask, let me know in the comments. And I hope this info is helpful. Thank you and take care.